What up, y'all? This is your boy, Mr. Downtown Ray Mello, and you're listening to the Entertainment Report on iHeartRadio, live from Dubai for Thursday, August 27th, 2015, delivering some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello, that's RAYMELO, or on Twitter at The Enter Report. You can listen to the show anytime you want on iHeartRadio or your iHeart app. Search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. The man suspected of fatally shooting WDBJ-TV reporter Allison Parker and cameraman Adam Ward had a long history of race-based complaints in the workplace. Deceased shooting suspect Bryce Williams, who claimed on social media that, quote, Allison made racial comments and that, quote, Adam went to HR on me after working with me one time, previously filed a lawsuit alleging discrimination and retaliation against another former employer, according to court papers obtained by the rap. The suit, which was filed under Williams' real name, Vester L. Flanagan, was filed against Florida NBC affiliate WTWC in February 2000. In the suit, Flanagan alleged that he was working as a newscaster and anchor at the station when he was called a monkey by a producer at the station. Flanagan claimed that he subsequently learned that other black employees had also been called monkeys by officials at the station. Flanagan also claimed that another official at the station complained blacks are lazy and do not take advantage of free money while discussing college scholarship money available to African Americans. According to the complaint, shortly after Flanagan complained to the station about the alleged discrimination, he was told that his contract with the station would not be renewed. The lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice in January 2001. Williams sent a 23-page fax to ABC News the night before the incident, which the network turned to authorities. The network reported sometime between Tuesday night and this morning, ABC News received a fax from someone claiming to be Bryce Williams. It is a lengthy document, 23 pages. ABC News has turned it to authorities. In the fax, Williams hinted at his plans and their motivation. What sent me over the top was the church shootings, read the fax, and my hollow point bullets have the victims' initials on them. The fax refers to the racially motivated shooting in June of a church in Charleston, South Carolina. The gunman in that incident, Dylan Roof, later admitted his motivations was, quote, to start a race war. Williams wrote, I've been a human powder keg for a while, just waiting to go boom. Elsewhere in the fax is quoted that the perpetrator of the 2007 Virginia Tech massacre, Sean-Hugh Cho, saying, that's my boy right there. He got nearly double the amount that Eric Harris and Dylan Kedbold got, referring to the gunman in the 1999 shooting of the Colorado Columbine High School. It is not known whether authorities have authenticated that the fax was in fact sent by Williams in Wednesday's killing. Williams, one-time reporter himself for WDBJ, is the name alleged shooter, real name Vester Flanagan, used professionally. Flanagan shot and killed reporter Allison Parker, 24, and cameraman Adam Ward. The video, along with assorted rants in which Flanagan aired his grievances with the journalist, were posted to his Twitter and Facebook accounts. Miley Cyrus proved to be a master of disguise on Jimmy Kimmel Live Wednesday night when the ABC late night host dressed her as a frumpy reporter and sent her undercover onto the streets of Los Angeles. Kimmel told viewers, Miley Cyrus is a very recognizable individual, so we decided to have some fun with that today by making her unrecognizable. He said, we disguised Miley as an Australian woman and sent her out on the street to ask people what they think about Miley Cyrus. Cyrus swapped her usual outrageous outfits for a gray suit, pearls, and glasses as she quizzed a man in a New England Patriots shirt and Free Brady hat on Hollywood Boulevard for a special edition of Live Witness News. The pop star will no doubt be wearing a lot less clothing on Sunday night when she hosts the 2015 VMA Awards, MTV VMAs. Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran, and Beyonce Knowles lead the nominations for the Video Music Awards, which should make things interesting since Cyrus recently slammed Swift's Bad Blood music video as offensive for its depiction of violence. Univision Communications President and CEO Randy Falco blasted Donald Trump Wednesday for the candidate's treatment of Spanish-language newsman Jorge Ramos at an Iowa press conference on Tuesday. Falco said in a statement released in English and Spanish, the recent treatment that Jorge Ramos received at Mr. Trump's press conference in Iowa is beneath contempt. As the presidential candidate, Mr. Trump is going to get tough questions from the press and has to answer them. Ramos added Mr. Trump demonstrated complete disregard for him and for the countless Hispanics whom Jorge seeks to represent through press questions that are at the heart of the First Amendment. On Tuesday at a campaign even in DuPage, Iowa, Trump engaged in a heated exchange with Ramos, Univision's lead news anchor. When Ramos attempted to ask Trump a question, the candidate shut him down, telling him go back to Univision. Security then escorted Ramos from the press conference. The reporter returned minutes later and engaged in a lengthy back and forth with Trump, during which the candidate told Ramos, "I have a bigger heart than you do." Trump also gloated about his $500 million lawsuit against Univision for dropping the Miss USA pageant co-owned by Trump for its flagship news network air. Isaac Lee, president of Univision News, invited Trump after the dust-up to appear in a sit-down interview with Ramos. Tobias Strobel, the 35-year-old who spent more than $100,000 to look like Justin Bieber, has been found dead after he was reported missing on August 18th, his manager confirmed to the Wrap Wednesday. Hollywood manager Gina Rodriguez said, "I am beyond devastated to hear the news about Tobias. Tobias was a kind, caring, and gentle soul that was dedicated and passionate to his music and career. For all the slings and arrows put forth against him, he always held his head high, treated everyone with respect, and had a warmth and glow to him that made anyone around him smile." Rodriguez continued, "I was fortunate to have known Tobias and have had the chance to work with him in his entertainment career over the past couple of years. My condolences go out to his family." Strobel's body was found in a Motel 6 in the North Hills neighborhood of Los Angeles on August 21st, the LA County Coroner's Office told Entertainment Tonight. However, his death was not reported to the media until Wednesday, August 26th. Strobel also went by the name Toby Sheldon and was featured on the E-Plastic Surgery reality series Botched in 2014. During his appearance on the show, he explained what inspired him to alter his appearance and emulate the singing sensation. He said on the show, "What brought me to Bieber was the whole package, the full cheeks, the full temples, the bright open eyes, the full luscious lips, and the spatula framing. He's just extraordinarily beautiful." Strobel was an inspiring singer from Germany. During an interview with E's Maria Melenos, he said that he wasn't completely happy with his Bieber-like appearance. He admitted, "I would like to say I'm 80% happy. I do think I can be 100% happy if I just invest more time, effort, and money into the face. I'm addicted to plastic surgery." MSNBC bumped Reverend Al Sharpton from its weekly lineup on Wednesday, moving him to Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sharpton told the New York Daily News, "I'm very happy. First, I can reach a wider audience of people who don't get home by 6 at night. Second, I can now get the A-list guests and newsmakers I want." He continued, "I never want to be a weeknight pundit. I want to be a Sunday morning newsmaker. I want to be Dr. Martin Luther King, not Larry King." In a memo to staff, network president Phil Griffin praised Sharpton and his Politics Nation staff. He said, "I want to congratulate Al and his team. For 4 years, they have done a terrific job bringing his voice and a big spotlight to the issues of justice, civil rights, and equality. And as many of you know, the Rev never missed a show. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do with the Sunday morning newsmaker program." A network insider told the Rev, "Nobody at 30 Rock believes Sharpton willingly volunteered to move to the weekends. This move smacked of what Griffin did with Ed Schultz in 2013. Does anyone think Ed put his hands up to leave 8 o'clock primetime for the weekends?" The insider also told the Wrap there are several personalities being considered for the 6 p.m. time slot, including weekend host Steve Kornacki, currently 8 p.m. All In, host Chris Hayes, and outside talent. Sharpton's last broadcast will air on September 4th, and MSNBC Live will air in its stead until a permanent replacement is named. His move to 8 a.m. on Sunday ship up with Kornacki down to 1 hour on Sundays, airing from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Sharpton debuted on the network in 2011, and the show, like most of the network, did well in the ratings during the height of Occupy Wall Street in the 2012 election. Since then, it suffered in the ratings as Sharpton was often criticized for being an advocate instead of a journalist and mocked for his less than smooth delivery on air. America's Got Talent judge Howie Mandel came under fire from the NEDA, the National Eating Disorder Association, on Wednesday after cracking on Tuesday's episode that one of the contestants made bulimia entertaining. Claire Masco, the COO of NEDA, told the Wrap in a statement Wednesday, eating disorders like bulimia and anorexia are no laughing matter, any more than you would make fun of cancer, diabetes, or any other life-threatening illness. We hope that this is a platform to raise awareness about the seriousness of eating disorders, which are biopsychosocial illnesses that can lead to chronic physical ailments, even death. She also added, normalizing of disordered eating in our can never be too thin society only exacerbates the problem. During Tuesday's live episode, Mandel told professional regurgitator Stevie Starr, who swallowed objects and bring them back up, "You, sir, make bulimia entertaining," E-Online reports. To be fair, prior to making the comment, Mandel acknowledged that it would probably come out wrong, and it did. Mandel apologized for the comment later in the episode. He said, "I just want to take a second to apologize. I made a comment earlier. It's live television. I wasn't thinking." Mandel began his mea culpa. "I made light of bulimia, which is a very serious eating disorder and mental health issue. I deal with mental health all the time, and I did something stupid. I should never make a light of it. I apologize to anybody that was offended. I'm not perfect. I made mistakes." He continued his apology on Twitter, writing, "I am not perfect. I made mistakes. I sincerely apologize to everyone who was offended." The jury on Wednesday found LA acting coach Cameron Thor guilty of committing a lewd act on a minor a week of difficulty testimony in the Van Nuys courtroom. The 7 men and 5 women walked into Van Nuys Superior Court and returned their decision after 2 days of deliberation. Thor threw his head back when the verdict was read and then leaned forward, placing his head on the table. His son Ace and his wife Alice Carter broke into tears. On the other side of the courtroom, Thor's accuser, 20-year-old Jordan Liddell, and her family also wept. Thor then turned to his family and whispered, "I love you," twice, once to his son and once to his wife. When the deputies approached to handcuff him, Thor let out an audible moan and shook his head. He will be taken to an LA county jail where he will remain until sentencing. Judge Martin L. Herskovitz declined to offer bail. Liddell said afterwards, "I got my life back. I did it. We did it. I never felt so happy." James Blatt, Thor's attorney, says, "I'm disappointed and surprised, but I respect the jury's decision. They saw things differently than the defense." After the trial, clearly devastated Ace expressed shock and disappointment at the verdict, but asked that his comments be withheld for the moment. After the trial, Liddell and her family ran into the jury as it was departing the court. Liddell waved to the jurors from the inside of her car and then rolled down the window when they passed. Liddell said one of the jurors told her, "Hang in there, baby girl. You got your life back. I'm so proud of you." Sentencing will occur in October. Thor faced 3 to 13 years in state prison, a sentence which would include an enhancement for special circumstances. Thor has been charged with 1 count of performing a lewd act on a child under the age of 14, a felony. Originally, LA Deputy District Attorney Simone Shea had filed 14 charges against Thor, including kidnapping and sexual assault, but decided to drop 13 of the 14 charges during the course of the several pre-trial motions. Thor is a well-known acting coach who had a small role in the 1993 hit Jurassic Park, as well as roles in TV. He and his wife run the Carter Thor Studio, popular acting school in Studio City that has catered to working actors for several years. Thor accuser, 20-year-old community college student Liddell, says Thor sexually assaulted her during a car ride in the spring of 2009. Thor's trial began on August 17th and lasted over a week. During her tearful and emotional testimony, visibly distraught Liddell testified about her relationship with Thor, which she says began when she was 12 years old, and accompanied her mother Patty to local Alcohol Anonymous meetings where Thor was also an attendee. Justin Bieber will deliver his first ever performance of What Do You Mean at this weekend's MTV Video Music Awards. What Do You Mean is the first track lifted from his upcoming album, and the song gets its official release on Friday, just 2 days ahead of the annual VMAs. Bieber's appearance at Sunday's show marks his first VMAs appearance since his melody performance of Baby, Somebody to Love, and You Smile back in 2010. The 21-year-old singing superstar returned to the stage at the Billboard Hot 100 Festival last weekend, almost 2 years after his last major tour wrapped up. He entertained the crowd at Billboard's inaugural annual fest by playing a string of familiar works, and at one stage joined with Skilrex on stage for a rendition of Where Are You Now. The VMAs is shaping as a must-see pop music extravaganza. Taylor Swift has announced she'll share the premiere of the Wildest Dreams video during the telecast, and Nick Jonas will use the platform to prelude event to present a debut live performance of Levels. Kanye West will be the recipient of the Video Vanguard Award at the VMAs, which will be held at the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles. Miley Cyrus will host, and The Weeknd is set to perform Can't Feel My Face. The likes of Pharrell Williams, Macklemore, Demi Lovato, and A$AP Rocky are all confirmed to take the stage. And noted just now, Kanye West will be the latest recipient of the Video Vanguard Award at the MTV Video Music Awards, which will take place on Sunday night. MTV announced a special achievement award on Tuesday. West has not been confirmed as a performer at the ceremony, which will be held at the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles, although an extended melody has become the norm for Video Vanguard recipients. Justin Timberlake reunited NSYNC during a 15-minute performance in 2013, while Beyoncé showcased several songs from her self-titled album last year. West has been nominated for Video of the Year VMAs 3 times with 0 wins. His last performance at the VMAs in 2013 was when he played Blood on the Leaves from Jesus. Taylor Swift may currently be on the 1989 World Tour, but she made her show on Monday all about the 90s with a little help from Alanis Morissette and Natalie Maines, as well as an appearance by Ellen DeGeneres. During her third night of 5 at LA Staples Center, Swift made it clear that both Morissette and Maines had an influence on her childhood and career path. She first brought out the former Dixie Chick to sing Goodbye Earl, also crediting her for musical inspiration. Swift admitted to the sold-out crowd as Maines joined her, "I can safely and honestly say I would not be a musician if it had not been for this artist. I would have not have wanted to be a country artist. I would have not dreamt the things that I've dreamed, and I wouldn't be standing on this stage today." Later in the show, Swift celebrated the 20th anniversary of Morissette's iconic album Jagged Little Pill with the tag team performance of the 1995 classic You Oughta Know. She introduced Morissette by telling the audience that the singer defined the music of her decade and taught us you could really get mad if you wanted to. Just before You Oughta Know, Swift was joined by DeGeneres on the catwalk for style. The funny woman seemed to have raided with Swift's wardrobe to try a different style herself, donning a full silver sequin getup and fringe tutu. Dee Barnes and Michelle, 2 women who publicly alleged Dr. Dre attacked them in the past, have responded to his recent statement for the New York Times. In a conversation with BBC Radio 5 Live, Michelle said, "I don't really think it's a sincere apology," adding that she didn't ask for a public apology and thinks if he's going to apologize, he should do it individually. She also added to just group us like we're nothing and nobody. I just don't think it's sincere. Treat us like we have names. The R&B singer added that she believes his motives to be transparent because it's a good PR move at the moment, with the recent release of NWA's biopic Straight Outta Compton. Barnes, in the follow-up essay on Gawker, accepted Dre's apology, saying, "Who cares why he apologized? The point is that he did." She then reiterated what it took to reach that apology, recounting how her experience has become an industry punchline for a number of MCs, including Dr. Dre's protege, Eminem. She says, "The hypocrisy of it all is appalling," saying of the numerous people who have criticized her for speaking out. She filed charges soon after Dr. Dre beat her up in a club restroom. "This is bigger than me and bigger than hip-hop. This is about respect and awareness. As a result of speaking my personal experience with violence, I have been vilified." Michelle further details the abuse she endured during her 6-year relationship with Dr. Dre in the interview, including incidents like the time she, quote, baked him chicken and didn't make enough. "He beat me because I didn't have another piece of chicken." As she puts it, "I don't want this new generation to think that it's okay. I never stopped talking about it." And now let's look back at what happened on this date in entertainment history. On this date in 1953, Roman Holiday, featuring Audrey Hepburn in her first starring movie role, premieres in New York City. Hepburn's performance in Roman Holiday as a European princess who ditches her official duties and falls in love for an American journalist, played by Gregory Peck while on tour in Rome, earned her an Academy Award for Best Actress and instantly established her as a leading Hollywood star. Hepburn's father, an English businessman, left Hepburn and her mother, Duchess Baroness, when Hepburn was a young young girl. She attended school in England, but when World War II broke out, her mother brought her to Holland thinking her daughter would be safe there. During the war, the Nazis occupied Holland, and Hepburn and her family endured hunger and other hardships. After the war, Hepburn studied ballet in Amsterdam and London and played bit parts on stage and screen until she met the French writer Colette, who insisted that Hepburn be cast as the lead in the Broadway version of her novel Gigi. Hepburn's Broadway debut brought her to enormous attention and led to a role in Roman Holiday. Moviegoers were enchanted by the slender, elegant beauty, and she went on to star in a string of hit films, including Sabrina in 1954 opposite Humphrey Bogart, Funny Face in 1957 with Fred Astaire, Breakfast at Tiffany's in 1961 when she played Holly Golightly, and My Fair Lady in 1964 in which she starred as Eliza Doolittle. And also on this date in 1967, Brian Epstein, the manager of the Beatles, was found dead of an accidental drug overdose in his Sussex, England home. The following day, the headline in the London Daily Mirror read, Epstein, the Beatles making Prince of Pop dies at 32. Brian Epstein was, by all accounts, the man who truly got the Beatles off the ground, and in John Lennon's estimation, it was difficult to see how they managed to go on without the man who had managed every aspect of the Beatles' business affairs up until his unexpected death. John later recalled, I knew that we were in trouble. I didn't really have any misconceptions of our ability to do anything other than play music. I was scared. I thought we fucking had it. The relationship between Brian Epstein and the Beatles dated back to Liverpool in late 1961. Entirely self-managed and without a recording contract, the Beatles had just recently returned from Hamburg and began playing Liverpool's Cavern Club. Epstein was then running his family's record and musical instrument shop on Walton Road, just blocks away from the Cavern. But as he would later tell the story, he hadn't heard of the Beatles until he had two customers in quick succession enter his store looking for a copy of a record they made in Hamburg as a backing group for vocalist Pete Sheridan. Based on this rather modest buzz, Epstein arranged to go see the future Fab Four several weeks later. The band that Epstein saw the first time he laid on the Beatles was very different from the one that would soon conquer the world. They dressed in black leather, they played only cover tunes, and they would freely eat and drink on stage during and between songs. Yet Epstein was immediately taken in with their charisma, and the crowd responded to it. On January 24th, 1962, he was officially hired by John, Paul, George, and drummer Pete Best in a deal that gave Epstein a 25% cut of the band's gross earnings in the next 5 years. As a business deal, that management contract may have seemed to have been tilted very much in Epstein's favor, but it is fair to say that the world may never have heard of the Beatles were it not for their manager and good friend. Epstein put the Beatles in suits, had them bow in unison after each number, and just a few months after being hired, got them their first recording contract with Parlophone Records. And as your entertainment report for Thursday, August 27, 2015, I'm your host, Mr. Downtown Ray Mello. I'll be back tomorrow to wrap up the week, delivering some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, Facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello, that's RAYMELO, or on Twitter at The Enter Report. You can listen to this episode or any previous episodes of The Entertainment Report anytime you want on iHeartRadio or your iHeart app. Just go to iHeart.com, search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. Good night, and God bless you all.